You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button.
All right, Brian Kelly was on the College GameDay podcast earlier this week. A day ago, we played the audio for you about his comments on Harold Perkins. But he talked about so much over the course of that interview. And one of the things he talked about was the opener against Clemson. And to my knowledge, I feel pretty confident in saying this because I've been searching for the better part of 2 months. This is really the first time that either Brian Kelly or Dabo Swinney have spoke on the record about that opener leading into it, like in 2025. So I was very interested to hear what Brian Kelly had to say because, look, and it makes sense. What you've gone through in this point has been spring practice where the focus is on your team, not necessarily the opener coming up. It's on your team, position battles for LSU, in LSU's case, rebuilding the offensive line, all of those things. And then, you go through spring meetings for each conference, whether it's the ACC or the SEC, and the focus there was on college football playoff and, revenue share and all those types of things. So there wasn't really a lot of time for the opener. This is really when it starts, when the players are in their player-led practices and workouts and things of that nature, and the coaches are really just kind of doing the recruiting deal, all the OVs. You can get them to finally start to look forward to camp and, of course, the opener. So Brian Kelly, when he was on the College GameDay podcast with Reese Davis and Pete Thamel, was asked about opening with Clemson.
Clemson will be a great challenge, but one that I think more than anything else, we have a football team that can go on the road. And that's what you have to do. You have to have a defense that travels. And we finally have got the roster in a position where I believe these are the kind of games that you want to go and play, and you need to win them. And I'm not going to make any other statements other than the fact we need to win the opener because we're 0-3. And not that this will be a deciding factor of whether you get in the players or not. It is a long haul, but we need it, as a program. And for, as you mentioned, Pete, the fan support and people to be rallying around this team, which I believe is going to be an outstanding team.
A couple things on that. Kelly, him saying you need it as a program. I wholeheartedly agree with that, like 100%. Yes, he's 0-3 in openers, but LSU has lost their last 5. They have not won an opener since 2019 when they curb stomped Georgia Southern 55-3 or whatever it was. And in that, you've lost marquee openers just like this, whether it was on the road at UCLA a year ago against USC, the 2 games, the home and home neutral site deal with Florida State. And now you're going on the road to Clemson, who, by the way, is coming off of a playoff appearance, has a returning quarterback in Cade Klubnik, an absolutely filthy defensive line. Like, that's huge. So, yeah, for you as a program, you do need it. You need the feel-good of it. Because what's been the narrative around this for, the last 5 years? Man, it was sure great when you played Georgia Southern. Quit playing these power conference teams to open the season. Do that in week 2. 2019 is the example. You played Georgia Southern, then you went on the road to Texas. But the last, 4 seasons, now 5 with Clemson, you're opening with a Power 5 opponent. And also, only one of those games has been played in the state of Louisiana. That was the 2022 game against Florida State down in New Orleans. So yeah, you need that feel good back in the program to kind of prove to yourself that you can have the team ready to go out there and play an opener against the top team. Because as Brian Kelly said, he wants to play this game. We know Brian Kelly wants to play the best competition. He's the guy who sat there and went on the record and say, hey, we want to play the Big Ten. Like, we want to play a series every year with the Big Ten. The one thing I'll push back on with him a little in that bite is that it's not the be-all, end-all to get into the college football playoff. And you know what? No, it's not. But it's pretty darn important. Because the playoff committee, above all else, unless you're Florida State, looks at wins. Not necessarily who you beat, but that you won. So in that regard, it's important. If you lose to Clemson, are you out? No. But you lose your margin for error. You can lose one more game after that. And you'd have 11 left. It's the situation you've been in the last 4 years. Now, how's that gone for you? Not well. So this does have huge playoff implications for LSU. This is integral. This game is integral to you making the college football playoff. 100%. I'd feel a lot better you head into the rest of September undefeated with margin for error, being able to drop 2 games in conference play and get in. Because here's the deal. You lose to Clemson and then you end up 9-3. The committee's not going to look back at this and go, oh, well, they did lose. One of the losses was Clemson. I mean, that's a pretty darn good loss. No, it's going to be like, hey, you're 9-3, and look, there might be a couple SEC teams ahead of you that are 10-2 that beat you. So it is integral to getting into the college football playoff. The other thing he said there was he feels like they have the team finally to go on the road. And he followed up on that and talked about why LSU is better equipped this season for the opener than years past.
Look, I've been in enough of these games. You go on the road, you better bring a defense. And I think this is the first year where I believe defensively, we have the pieces in place to go into a very difficult place to play and come out victorious.
I love that he says that. And I believe that LSU has a very, very, very good defense. I believe they will be light years better than they were last year and obviously the year before that under Matt House. But I would be lying to you if I did not tell you that LSU's defense is my chief concern in this game. That and the offensive line. Because while, yes, you're way more talented on defense, all of those things, it's going to be their first time playing together. It will be on the road against a veteran quarterback with a really good supporting cast. How ready are they to play? Yet you're better equipped because you're better on that side of the ball. But is the execution to the level that it needs to be in just game one? Because that's been a problem for you really on both sides of the ball in these openers. Last but not least, Brian Kelly, when talking about how important this opener is, he did not shy away from the measures that LSU is taking.
We've circled the game. I've never done that before in openers. It's all over our weight room. It's all over our workouts. We're wearing shirts. I mean, we're doing the kumbaya of we're playing Clemson and we need to beat Clemson. So is that too much pressure? No, I think we've got enough mature veteran guys on this team. We had a clear conversation about why we were doing it, and they're all in on that.
When I heard him say that, that definitely caught my ears. Because, man, that can go one of two ways. And you hear him say, I've never done that. And they've got it on the weight room. They're wearing shirts. You have no reason not to believe him. And that can go one of two ways. One, it can get your guys fired up, focused on the goal. You go there, you win, and you move on to the rest of the season. Or you risk it becoming a one-game year at the start of your season. You go there, you lose, and all your energy has been put into that. Now you have 11 straight weeks, and you're in the same exact position you were the last 3 seasons, the last five seasons if you're LSU as a whole. And that does concern me. Because that's been a thing throughout the recent history of LSU program when it came to Alabama, especially under Les Miles. There was so much all year put into that one game that when you lost it, it was real hard to come back from. Now, Kelly guarded against that in that answer and says, we feel like we have the maturity on the team to handle that. It's well and good to say. There's only one way to find that out, and you'll know after the clock hits 0 on April 30th. Whether you win or lose, how the team is going to respond to that after putting so much focus and so much emphasis on that one game. To the point of not just preparation, but circle, shirts, in the weight room, signs, all of that. Like, everywhere you go, you see Clemson, and you have to win that ball game. His words were, we need to beat Clemson. That does give me a little bit of cause for concern that maybe you're putting too much in, because the messages kind of get mixed. Where in the first cut, he said it's not the be-all, end-all of us making the playoff. But then, we've got it circled. It'll be very, very interesting to see how this team handles that. But it was good to get him on the record finally talking about the game, because it's going to be a dandy between LSU and Clemson up there at the fake Death Valley on August the 30th.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.